No.
Pretty.
Sloppy.
There you go. That was our Kirby enthusiasm.
We nailed it.
Yep. Nice job. Kick ass. Good job, producer.
I need some water.
All right.
Because my mouth is dry.
That's cool.
From spitting my takes at you.
Stick around.
All right, so next up, let's talk about some updates for Peacemaker, the show that we loved. Season 2.
Season dose.
So James Gunn was he's been doing like some Q&As here and there on Threads. So he had some questions.
Or something?
Yeah, it's just like Instagram's version of Twitter, which is the most 2024 thing I could ever say. He was answering questions about Peacemaker. So that's supposed to start in the summer. So he is shooting Superman and Peacemaker simultaneously to tie them together.
Okay.
Like in a way to bring that into the DCU. But he said that season 1 is not canon. Which is weird.
Yeah.
And I understand why it is, because that was still technically the DCEU. Now we know we got a new Superman. We're gonna get a new Batman, a new Flash, new Aquaman. So it would make sense to have him in a season 2, but then it's like they really have to find a way to justify, and I'm sure they will with the Waller show too. But I think they're going to try and find ways to justify this, but it's going to be really hard because the whole entire cast is coming back, which on one hand is exciting because that cast was great.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, okay, so why is that first season not canon, and how? So are we just supposed to not? What do we do with those relationships? Because those relationships were built in that first season. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh, you're overthinking it. But am I? Because are we going to say like all that character growth happened, but it wasn't, I don't know. What are they going to say? They're in some like multiverse now?
So here's what I like to think is that James Gunn is going to find a good and smart and funny way to bridge the gap and to keep all those relationships to say that the first season happened, but that it isn't canon. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's kind of a shitty thing, but I kind of would like it if it was Peacemaker in James Gunn's office. And he's just like, what the fuck do you mean? And he's like, well, this is what I got to do because I didn't know I was going to be running this whole damn show when I did the first season, but I don't want to lose that, connection. Like, well, I guess you're right. I know that he could do it way funnier than I fucking could. And I know that that's kind of a cheap way. But to be real,
that character doesn't break the fourth wall usually.
Right, but to be really brutally honest, the show is very meta. Yeah. There's a lot of meta shit going on, not least of which is the fucking opening goddamn sequence, right? I mean, that whole thing is so, right? Okay. So I think the audience that watches it and the audience you're trying to reach would be receptive and understand and is smart enough to figure out go, okay, so you're basically just saying I don't know. I think there's a way that he can do it.
Yeah, and to me it's
and I think he can
I
do
wish
it
I
way
had the
clever,
Stephen A.
more clever
Smith
than
drop
we could.
where it's like, honestly, we don't care.
Yeah.
We do
It's still gonna
not
be good.
care because it's still going to be better than pretty much anything
Until
else.
he does wrong, James Gunn can do no wrong.
There are aspects that I like to the DCEU, but in my opinion, the two projects that James Gunn did were both very effective and funny and great.
What are the two you did? Oh, Suicide Squad.
The
and
Suicide
Peacemaker.
Squad
Yeah,
and
I
Peacemaker.
forgot. The Suicide Squad. Yeah, to me, I mean, look, whatever. It's clear from listening to those interviews, snippets, that Zack Snyder doesn't understand the comic books at all, actually. But it's clear from watching all sorts of shit that James Gunn does. And he understands being a comic book fan. And Zack Snyder kind of doesn't. Like at all. In fact, the way it sounds is Zack Snyder is going to be like, oh, so you like Spider-Man, huh? So he sticks to walls and shit? Well, guess what? My Spider-Man ain't going to fucking stick to walls. How do you like that, fucking fanboy?
Oh, but when he does, he breaks through the wall and kills someone.
Yeah, kill someone. Are you going to fucking like that? Doesn't it sound like he's just pissing all over your fan? And all all these alt-writers that we talk about all the time who defend this Snyderverse crap, they're the same fucking way, man. They get all pissed off when you fuck with their heroes and fuck with their characters and blah, blah, blah.
So anyway, to answer some more questions, he said on Threads, Peacemaker Season 2 will take place after the events in Superman, which, by the way, is no longer Superman Legacy. It's just going to be called Superman.
That's fine.
He also said that the events of Superman will have an impact on the second season for Peacemaker. So Superman and Peacemaker Season 2 will be shot simultaneously. So Gunn will not direct every episode, but he will still be involved with it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Did he direct everyone in the first episode?
He didn't direct every episode. He directed like all but like 2.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot less because he'll have Superman.
But that was fine. Whoever they got to do him, good job.
I'm excited. Like, I went back, so I was trying to put it together, and I just don't think I have the hard drive space to do it.
What?
But a while back, I did an omnibus on our YouTube channel for Venom. I was putting together an omnibus for Peacemaker because we reviewed every episode.
Huh.
It's 4 hours long. Like, that's how much we love that show.
Wow.
And that's how much we talked about that show. And so, clearly, you and I are both excited for Season 2. I'm just trying... What concerns me with, like, all that character growth that all of those characters had together and Peacemaker himself having that growth, I would prefer that there's some way we had that connection to.
I think they will. I think, like I said, I think he's... I think he can figure it out.
Well, remember, because the Flash, they set up in the Flash movie that the timeline is shifted, so things can shift. So, like, you could keep the memories that all of them had of Season 1, but now they're shifted into a parallel universe. Because why not?
Sure.
Why not? Who cares?
Whatever.
Who cares?
As long as it's enjoyable.
As long as it's good. That's all that matters.
I can figure out the extraneous bullshit that as long as you don't make me do math.
There's something that's interesting about Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And what James Gunn was able to do with that character. First of all, the fact that that character got to the level it did, that he ended up as a guest character in Mortal Kombat, just shows you how quickly and how fastly. And he's also in a fucking anime too. Like, that character's profile has jumped so much because of James Gunn.
Yeah.
To think like.
And John Cena.
And to think that and John Cena.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but I'm also saying, like, it's so crazy to me to see that, like, that character's, like, how fast that character's gained in popularity, where I don't know really anything at all about this character. So this next season, I have no fucking idea what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't have any clue what Season 1 was going to be.
Well, the great thing about a character like Peacemaker is he's such a nothing
character that nobody knows
about. You can make
about.
him whatever you want. And in fact, like, again, Vigilante is nothing like the comic books, because I read the comic books when I was a kid. I don't care, because he's such a D-lister. It doesn't even matter. Like, look, man.
Let's have some fun with these characters, you know?
Let me bring up a point.
Yeah.
Let me bring up a point.
Okay.
We just talked a lot about Zack Snyder making Batman kill and how weak a fucking writer that was and all that shit, right? And we're talking about having fun with characters.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. Big difference is Batman's Batman. Fucking Vigilante and Peacemaker are nothing. I mean, they always kind of have.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, what Zack Snyder was dealing with was Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yes.
This is fucking Peacemaker
yes.
and Polka Dot Man
yes.
and Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Yeah, whatever.
Like, nothing characters. And that was the whole point.
Yes.
Of that, and, like, I don't know.
That's why it's easy to play with those characters, and why it doesn't create such a fervor.
Regardless of how weird I feel about the whole Season 1 not being canon thing, I
believe in it.
I still have a lot more trust with him, and I understand why Warner Brothers is going with him versus going with Snyder.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because to me, again, Snyder, I think James Gunn knows how to change and adapt characters in a better way, because I feel like when he has changed characters, for the most part, it's been good. I know that Adam Warlock isn't exactly what people would have hoped for that character. I'm not saying every change he's made is great, but for the most part, the changes that he's made are because, like you said, they're characters that you can kind of play with a little bit. Like Batman and Superman are pretty set in stone in the mythos and the lore, whereas these other characters, you're not going to know much about them.
And again,
like who the fuck knew about any of the Guardians of the Galaxy before that movie?
Right.
Yes, there's people that did,
right.
but he brought it mainstream, and he can do, and that's what his thing has been.
My thing is always like, you really good writers. I know that James Gunn can take a character like Superman, who is kind of set in stone, like we're talking about, and make changes to him in a way that makes sense for the character, but also furthers the characterization.
He gets the emotion of the character.
He doesn't have to do something stupid
humanity.
like, well, Batman doesn't kill. Well, how about if I have a Batman who kills? Let's see what that's like.
Yeah? Superman doesn't kill. He
Well,
snaps Zod's neck. And again,
sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
If you want to go back and as much as I enjoyed Man of Steel, he could have just choked him out.
Yes.
He didn't have to snap
And
his
then
neck.
put him back in the Phantom Zone.
Could have just choked him out.
Yes.
But you made him snap his neck.
What? God
See?
damn it.
See, now you started looking at it in a different light.
Oh, no. I fucking hated it when it happened.
So
I
we're
still
excited
fucking
for
hated it.
Peacemaker. I'm excited still. Again, it just shows you that I think DC is in really good hands with James Gunn. I know it's a little murky.
Unfortunately, they're
And
owned
again,
by Warner
I
Brothers.
wish.
Yikes.
I wish they would just completely hit reset. And I understand that you're trying to take the good things from the DCEU and bring things over, but like, shit, man.
So is Momoa still?
No, he's not gonna be Aquaman. So maybe he'll be Lobo. I don't know. It seems like he's still gonna work with like the way that it seemed was.
Well, why wouldn't he? I mean,
yeah. I don't know.
So wait a second. Is The Rock still going to be Black Adam? Fuck you.
You know how I'll be in the theater.
Yeah.
Touch and bless.
I love that movie.
I had more fun of it than I
No.
thought I would.
Honestly, for me, that movie is
Ew, fuck you.
mostly because of all the stupid shit behind it. But that's a different story for a different day.
Mm.
We're gonna move on.
I
I'm
still
not gonna
had-
play the
I had fun
Seinfeld
in the
bass
theater.
because I think we're
Yeah,
gonna get
that's
sued.
good. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.